Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Today, let me show you how to quickly caption a photo using the Clips app on your iPhone. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 500 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content. So sometimes you want to take a photo and send it to somebody, but you want to add a fun caption to it. You can do that in a variety of different ways with a whole bunch of different apps on your iPhone. One way to do it is to use the Clips app, which is a fun free app from Apple that does a bunch of different things. So if you don't have the Clips app, go to the App Store and search for it. You can find it there. It's free to get. You know you have the right app if you see that the developer is Apple. Once you've added it, all you need to do is tap on the icon to run it and you go into the Clips app. It does a lot of different things, but all we're going to look at here in this tutorial is creating a simple caption. So I'm going to tap on Library to choose a photo. Now you can take a photo in the Clips app, but chances are if you want to put a nice caption on a nice photo, maybe you've already taken it with the regular camera app or you had it from a long time ago. I'm going to choose here a image and I'm going to use this image and put a caption over it. So it's now inside the Clips app and I could do various things with it. You would think to add a caption you would tap on the little speech bubble icon to the left near the bottom. But in fact that does something different. To caption the photo you want to tap on the multicolored star to the right. Tap on that and you can do various things with it. Notice the options are Animoji, filters, text, stickers, and emoji. But for captions we want to use text. Now we have some options here at the bottom. Now you only have a limited number of options. Keep in mind that if you really want to have full control, you want to put the type of text and the type of font and color and everything exactly as you want, then you're probably going to want to have a full-on graphics editing app. This is for just doing a quick and easy caption. So let's select one here that would look good. I'm going to use this one here that says wow, and it's going to put it there right in the middle of the photo. Now you can see that there's text selection around it. So if I start typing it will replace that text with whatever I type. Now notice how it wrapped the text automatically. There's kind of an invisible box there that you're filling in with text. So when you reach the edge of that box it's going to go to the next line. I'll show you how to adjust that with a little trick later on. Now that you've got that text there I'm going to hit the X button and I see my photo with the text on it. Chances are it's not where I want it to be. But I can tap with one finger and drag it around on the photo. I can do a lot more than that if I use two fingers. If I use two fingers I can tap and pinch out or in to resize it and turn my two fingers to rotate the text. So I can actually move it with two fingers as well. So I can move it where I want and get it looking just like I want. So I can do something like that. Now you could also move the photo. The trick is to tap with one or two fingers far away from the text. So I'll tap at the bottom right corner there and you can see I can move the photo. I can go back and forth. I can pinch in and out and I can get the photo just where I want. Now Clips is always going to produce a square image. That's what's used in most social sharing apps and things like that. So if you go all the way in you'll see how you get black bars at the top and bottom, which you can actually correct a little later on if you want. I'm going to just keep it normal like that. I'm going to put the text where I want and let's say I'm done and I want to share it. I'll just use the share button at the bottom. I'll tap that. That brings up all the standard sharing options. So you'll see apps at the top here and I can share directly say to Facebook or Instagram or something. And I also see other options at the bottom in a list. Some of those are for apps. Some of those are for some standard iOS features like save image will save it out to your photos library. Save to files will save it as a file. So you can use these options to get it out of Clips and use it just about anywhere that you want. So let's look at some more advanced options or kind of tricks. Let's say you don't want this to be on three lines like that. You want it to be on one line so you can put it like at the bottom. There is a way to do that. So I'm going to drag this here to the middle and I'm going to tap on it once really quick and you can see comes up with edit and delete buttons. So that's how you delete one if you don't like how it's looking and you can go with something else. So I could do edit and now you can see I've got the whole thing selected. Now imagine there's a invisible square box there containing this text. So if I add extra lines to it, it will compress the text to make it fit in there. I'm going to move the selection so it's at the end there. So now if I start typing, it'll start typing towards the end of the text. And I'm going to hit return a bunch of times to add some blank lines to the end. And you can see as I do that, it shrinks the text down to fit within that box. So imagine an invisible box now and the text is all compressed towards the top of it. So now I'll tap outside of it by tapping above it. And I can drag it around. It's weird because if I tap and drag below the text, it's part of that invisible box. So I'm just moving it around. But if I tap and drag above the text, I'm actually dragging the whole photo. So you have to really think about that invisible box there. Now I can pinch out on that text and you can see I can expand it. I can then maybe reposition it. Now it's weird because if I want to put this at the bottom, I have this big invisible box and there's a lot of it towards the bottom. So I can't get it down to the bottom. I can put it at the top. So this works really well at the top. But if I want to do it at the bottom, what I want to do is tap on it, do edit, and instead of doing it as text at the bottom as a bunch of returns, I'm going to delete those. Then I'm going to tap outside of it, tap it again so I can say edit and I can see the selection there. And I'm going to put the insertion at the beginning and I'm going to add the returns before the text. So now I can just do a bunch of returns. It actually pushes it off towards the bottom. When I tap outside of that and drag the invisible box, now I've got an invisible box with a lot of blank lines at the beginning and then the text at the bottom. So now I can no problem stick this text here at the bottom of the screen. So you can work with it to get what you want. The other thing you could do is you could add multiple captions here. So I could add another one by tapping the multicolored star. I could use a different setup or just the same one. And I could just leave it as that sample text here. And now you see I've got that one at the bottom and the one at the top. Now I mentioned really briefly that if I shrink the image down so you can see the black bars at the top and bottom, I can then adjust the text. I'm going to make sure the text is still over the image like that. But I've got those black bars. Now I'm going to hit the X button there and I'm going to share it. And I'll do Save Image. And now I'm going to go into my Photos app. And here I see it. But if I hit Edit, notice that there are white bars at the top and bottom. So it shows black bars in Clips, but it actually gives you white bars here. But now that I'm in the Photos app, I can just, since I'm editing, tap the Crop button at the bottom. And now I can just crop that part out. So I'm losing some resolution here. This is definitely not the kind of thing where you want to send the full resolution, original format for the photo to somebody. But if you're just trying to post something fun or send somebody a fun text message, then using the Clips app to make a caption really quickly on your iPhone can be very useful. I publish new tutorials every weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Then hit the little bell icon to get notifications for each new tutorial.